All right, guys, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We got Jesper here, obviously. And if y'all guys have any questions whatsoever, just make sure to drop them below and ask Jesper. He's going to be speaking on, like we talked about, Azure, Microsoft, cloud stacking. If you don't know what cloud stacking is, then pay attention. And it's very powerful because you can do embeds, iframes, blase, a bunch of other stuff, but they're very, very powerful. We use them on every single client we work with. So every client every month gets cloud stacks, and those cloud stacks, the way we do them, it's, we do a long but article. We do a bunch of iframes and stacks and internal linking. And I don't know if you do this as well, Jesper, but we also on ours, we embed via iframe local news and also local things to do on our cloud stacks. That's something we recently started doing too as well. So
yeah, that's actually a very good idea because you add this the topical relevance to the cloud pages, so that helps indexing, and it probably also helps ranking.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why we started doing it. But guys, pay attention, and this is going to be recorded. It will be put on the back end at Rank Fortress Academy once it's done. I'm going to do my best. I generally try to upload it same day. So talk to you soon. Just pay attention, drop your questions below.
Yep. So I'll take over from here. Let me share my screen. Share. And let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Yep. All right. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Microsoft Azure today. And I made this recipe for myself because there are so many steps. So, and it's 2 o'clock in the night here in Denmark. So I was a little bit afraid that I forgot some of the details. So I wrote it down for myself. So I'll send this recipe to you after we're done, William, and you can upload it to the backend so that people actually also, they have it. Okay, so cloud stacking. So let me just recapitulate what cloud stacking is. Cloud stacking is the process of building HTML pages or HTML websites and putting them on clouded hosting services like Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, Amazon S3, Alibaba, P Clouds, and other clouds, Wasisys or something, Wasabisys, I think that's a cloud service called. That's called this. And the reason that we want to do this, also just to recapitulate, is that let's take a look at my website. And you have seen this before. If you've seen one of my webinars, I'm using this little plugin called Mangools. And you can see that my website is not new anymore. I think it's a year since I purchased this domain, jespernissen.com. And it has a domain authority of 6 and a page authority of 26. So now I didn't focus on building backlinks to my own website because I wanted to see if I can rank for the keywords that I want to rank for without building, real backlinks to my website. Anyway, so when you build a new website, you start with 1, 1, 0, 0. But when you build an HTML page and put it on Amazon S3, for example, let me show you how that looks like. Let me show you here. I click on backlinks to my website, and I can see that I have actually Mangools picked up one of the cloud pages that I made, and this has a domain authority of 93 and a page authority of 48, sorry. So DA 93, PA 48, and this is indexed, and this is so that's the amount of power that you actually get from these HTML pages when you put them on these the cloud hosting services. So the main 3 that I use, and probably almost all other SEO people that are using cloud stacking for their SEO campaigns. The main three that I use are Amazon, Microsoft, and Google Cloud. And I want to show you this picture. This is a service I'm selling. This is not to sell you this service. This is just to explain to you what or how I'm actually right now working with cloud stacking. So this is quite an advanced diagram. And the reason I have created the diagram like this is because I want to have the minimum amount of links pointing to my money site from my cloud pages. I want the minimum amount of links for two reasons. One reason, I don't want to make it look spammy in the eyes of Google. I never encountered any penalty from this, but still, better safe than sorry. No, so that's one thing. And the other thing is, in this diagram that I designed here, I only have one link pointing to my money site. So when people come to investigate my backlink profile on my money site, they only see this link from Microsoft Azure. So this is the buffer page. So pointing to the buffer page, I have a link wheel that I am uploading to Amazon. And then pointing to these link wheel pages, I have individual cloud pages from Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, in a tiered link building structure. And pointing to these links, I have Google Sheets backlinks pointing to them to power them up and to help with indexing. So this is the stacking part of the cloud stacking SEO campaign. The stacking part is that you utilize more than one HTML page and interlink them like this. I could have a 2-page stack. I could have the Microsoft Azure stack and then a single page on Amazon. That would be a 2-page stack. So this is a 12-page stack. You have 6 pages in the link wheel, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 additional cloud pages. So this is a tiered link building structure with 12 pages in total, and a lot of 5,000 Google Sheet links that I have another. I have an application that I'm building these Google Sheets with. So let's see if there's already questions. I think I'll get back to the questions afterwards to not interfere with my presentation. So anyway, so this is the way that I build these stacks, and it's manual work for now. I'm building my application, the Yax application, and it's manual work, but it is manual work for now, or partly manual work. So it's a little bit time consuming, but I want you to think over how you would like to work with this, because this is only the work. This is the way that I do it, but there's not one true way to do it. I have something I can show you, PowerPoint here. I just want to show you some of the diagrams that I've built into my application. So this is one way you can build a stack, a linear stack. This is one cloud page pointing to your money site, and then the cloud page pointing to that, a cloud page pointing to that. So in this setup, you have the accumulated power of 6 pages pointing to a target URL. And then you can have a stack mode, an umbrella mode, I call it. Again, you have one link pointing to a target URL, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 additional pages pointing to this buffer. We could call it a buffer page, and that's then pointing to the target URL. Again, you have the accumulated power of 6 pages pointing to your target URL. So it's just, it's only your imagination that sets the limit for how you can work with these cloud properties. So let me go over to today's agenda. The agenda is an Azure deep dive. And I'll upload, or William will upload this procedure to his backend afterwards. So let me just get started, or I can go over, before I go to the details. I can go over what I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how to sign up for Microsoft Azure hosting, and it's for free. I'm going to show you how to create your blobs and your containers. Sorry for the name, stupid name. The blob service is stupid name. I'm going to show you how to use or how to upload HTML files, and then I'm going to show you how to use Microsoft Azure Storage Explorer and connect that with your Azure hosting. So, but let's get started, shall we? Let's go to Google. Let me just do like this, so I can have my agenda in the right side of the screen. And so then here, I will search for Microsoft Azure hosting, and I will click on azure.microsoft.com, and I'll click on this Google Ads, so they have to pay $50 or whatever it costs them. So then I'll click on this green button, and if you are browsing from an English-speaking country, you will see that it says start for free. So you will click on it, and you will select a Microsoft account that you already have. It could be a Hotmail, it could be, this is my domain name for my Danish agency, so I'll click here. And I'll enter my passwords. Do you want to remain logged on? Yes. So now I am asked to sign up. I think it seems that you already have an Azure account. If I didn't already have an Azure account, I would be asked to sign up, and I will set, and you must select start for free. And then you enter your, of course, your company information and your credit card, and you're good to go. So I'll just use the existing subscription on my account. And sorry for that, I'll need to select my account again. And I should be in now. Yep, I'm in. All right. So this is what the backend looks like. The backends of all these cloud hosting services, they are, of course, they are not similar at all. They're all very different, but they're all very advanced. So that's the reason that I found out that it's much easier and much better for me to use these file explorer applications that I install on my Windows computer. So what I need to do is I need to click here up here in the left corner to create a resource. And I will have to create a storage account. So you can see you can create Windows Server 2019 data center, Ubuntu server. If you love Linux, blah, 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 I'll create the storage account. Shall we see if there's questions? Yes, we'll get to the questions in the end. All right. So we are creating a storage account. And of course, I already have the subscription. So this is just the name of my active subscription. And the resource group, okay, when you're creating your first storage account, this will be empty. But I already created a resource group, but I can just show you how it is. How it looks. I will name my resource group SEO. Yes, and I will storage account name super SEO, and the region will be US East. And I don't know if you remember that we talked a little bit about the different regions in Amazon, and there's one particular region that's more powerful than the others. Now, there are so many different regions here that I must admit I didn't test if you get more, page authority from taking this region than this region, because that's how it works in Amazon. I don't know how it works here, but I'll just take this one. I'll take standards, and I'll just review and create. And create. Submitting deployment. Deployment in progress. So now this is the step that where you have to have a little bit patience, because you can see up here, you can see my mouse. My mouse is up in top right corner here. You see that this little line is running below the bell. And when it stops running, it's done. But it still says deployment in progress, is in progress, as you can see. So it is thinking, thinking. Deployment succeeded. Deployment super SEO _ this number to resource group SEO was successful. All right, I'll close this guy. All right, then I'll click on go to resource. And then, then I'll click on go to blob service. Sorry for that name. And now here I can create containers. Containers is like folders. So when I click container here, I can call it SEO. And I will call it, and then I need to select the public access level. I'll need to select container, because because then the files that I upload can actually be watched by the audience that visits the website. I'll just move this. I click create. So I successfully created a storage container. I click on SEO here, and it is empty for now. So I can click upload here. Let me just show you another Google search that you can do. Free HTML template. If you didn't purchase my cloud stacking course, and if you are not going to subscribe to my cloud building software, then you can do it for free. And I think was it this guy I clicked on? Yeah, it was this guy. So they have some really, really nice HTML templates. Let me just download this guy here. Download. And let me go to downloads. Yeah, you can see I already downloaded because I made a rehearsal, AJ, and this template looks like this. So yeah, it's a very nice template. I won't go into the HTML editing of this part now, but I can tell you, for those of you that didn't watch any of my previous presentations, that I use an application called Sublime Text 3. And let me just open it so you can see. Open file. Downloads. Where is it? Open. Yeah. So this is actually the HTML page, and yeah, this is not a course in HTML editing, but no, I can. Let me just write. Let me write SEO here, just for fun, and let me select that the target should be my website. I doubt that it will deliver much SEO juice, but who knows? I don't know. Let me save it. Let me just edit one important thing, and this is the title. One basic thing I will say about HTML is that up here in the so-called head section of the HTML, up here in the header, one very important thing that you should always be sure to edit is the title, or the meta title, I think some people call it. But the title here, there's actually also a meta tag called meta title. But this is the title up here. You should also always correct this, because this is one of the main ranking factors in Google, that your keyword is written in here between the title and the, yeah, and the title tag up here. So Yes, it is saved now. So let me just see here. Ah, SEO. Yes, and I can click on SEO and I can go to jespernissen.com. All right, all right, all right. So now I think I'm actually done here. Yeah, I think I'm actually done here because now I can actually upload. I can upload HTML files from here, but I'm not an expert in using this backend because I never used this backend, but I just tried and it seems that if I click on index and if I select all these files, it doesn't understand this. So I can only upload one file at a time, and that's a little bit annoying, right? So that's not what we're going to do. Instead, we're going to look at our little setup file here. So what we will do now is we will go to the left side menu. I'll just click back to Super SEO. And so I click back to Super SEO here. Oh, 2 seconds, go to resource, Super SEO. And then I scroll down and I click on access keys here. And the access keys is something that I'm going to use for my Microsoft Azure Storage Explorer. So let me just open that application, or let me just make another Google search. Who is talking? Is it a question? No, that wasn't a mistake. Microsoft Storage Explorer. So is that not the name? Microsoft Azure Storage Explorer. Sorry about that. So this application is something that I recommend that you download to your preferred operating system, because that's what I use and makes it so much more easy to work with Microsoft Azure. All right. So let me go over to Microsoft Azure Storage Explorer. Let me open it. So after you have installed Microsoft Azure Storage Explorer, and when you open it, you will not have any storage accounts because it's brand new. So what you need to do is you need to go up to the menu up here. You need to click on account management. You need to add an account. And it needs to be a storage account. At least that's what I do. That's what I do. I can see that you could also sign into Azure. I don't know why I didn't do that actually, but let me just show you how I do it now. So connection string, next. And let me just go over to my show keys connection string, copy to clipboard. So what I did was I show keys and then connection string. Then I click copy to clipboard. And then I go over to Microsoft Storage Explorer and I paste it. And then it actually finds the display name automatically. And then I click next and I click connect. Let's see what it says, adding new connection, successfully added new connection. And then it's thinking. So we will wait. Here it is, Super SEO. So let's see, blob containers, SEO, no data available. All right, so this is empty. So let me show you the very last step is I simply select all these files and I drag and drop over here. And then now it says successfully added new connection. And it's thinking, and it is done. Let me just, let me just do one last thing. You know, I can copy URL. Let's see if it is public. It is public. All right. Okay. So so now now it took me not so many minutes, and I've already created a very nice looking jewelry website with the SEO anchor text link or button link pointing into my jespernissen.com website. And the thing is, I want to show you something here. First of all, let me click on Mangools up here, and let us inspect the data for the exact URL. And what you will notice is that out of the box, it has a domain authority of 92 and a page authority of 42. So you will now understand and realize the power of this concept, because you can, for free, create unlimited amount of web pages that's pointing into your website. So you can power up your website. And if you are a little nifty in HTML and or you have a virtual assistant that you can train to do this, you can quite quickly boost your rankings with this process. And let's take a look at the URL up here. You can see here it says Super SEO, and Super SEO comes from let's see here. Go to resource. It comes from blob here. It comes from the blob name, or the storage account is called. The storage account is called Super SEO. So the name of the storage account is actually incorporated into the URL name up here. So Super SEO is actually a subdomain of blob.core.windows.net. And you can see here it says SEO, and the reason it says SEO is because SEO is the name of the container, or you could also call the container a folder, but SEO is the name of the container or folder. So you can actually see that you have two opportunities to insert keywords into your URL: the name of the storage account and the name of the container or folder. And you can actually, let me show you here. I can create a folder, more SEO. Okay. Didn't I create it? New folder, more SEO. Okay. A virtual folder does not actually exist in Azure until you paste, drag, or upload blobs into it. To paste the blob into a virtual folder, copy the blob for creating the folder. Okay. Copy the blob. Copy blob container. Oh, new folder. More SEO. I can't paste. It's a little bit annoying. So let me see if I can drag these guys in here. Let's see what happens. Yes, let's copy the URL and let's open this guy. All right, so I just showed you a way to insert even more keywords, because now you can see we have Super SEO, we have SEO, we have more SEO in the URL up here. Let's inspect the power of this guy here. And the power of this guy is still domain authority 92 and page authority 42. So even though that it's now in this HTML file now resides into in a subfolder called more SEO, it is still just as powerful as the other as the other HTML file. So, and Microsoft Azure is the same as Amazon S3 with regards to spend or to price, because I haven't paid anything yet. And it's, yeah, it's just super nice that you can actually have this for free. I just saw an ad for pCloud that has, was it lifetime 500 gigabytes when you have to pay a couple of hundred euros, but you get this for free also for lifetime. I haven't paid anything yet, so I think that's just super nice. Let's see if there are some questions here. I'll just answer some of the questions. If we buy Gig, do we get the logins to edit content? If you want me to place the cloud pages on my buckets, you don't get access. But I I have a way of creating the content. I scrape and rewrite content. But if you want to purchase one of my cloud stacking gigs, and you want to use your own content, you can just give it to me, and I'll use your content. So interesting, yes, but you don't use Twitter Moments or expired tumblers to link to the Google Cloud pages. Yes, I do that also, but I just don't do it for the gigs here because it would be too time consuming. But for my own properties, I send Twitter Moments to all these cloud pages. Can you see my screen here with the diagram here? When I'm doing this for myself, for my own web pages, I make sure to send Twitter Moments to all these pages here to power them up, because it powers them up and it also helps with indexing. Do you have to set your IP address to the region, to that region you selected, or use proxy or incognito? Patrick, I don't know what you mean about IP address, proxy, or incognito. I have no, it's not something that I do. I don't understand what it is, what you mean. So I can just say it's not something that I do. How long do the backlinks created remain indexed? I haven't seen them drop off as such. What I do see sometimes is that if you don't, when it comes to content of these cloud pages, of course, Google is aware that this is a trick that we're doing. So if you don't make sure to make good content, you can run the risk that after 3 or 4 days, something like that, this page will drop out of the immediate index. It will still be indexed, and it will still transfer link juice. It's only that this page will not appear in the rankings. So if I search for how to make a Twitter moment, on mobile, even though this page, it is indexed, it will not rank for anything, but it will still pass link juice. And the reason that it is so is because I used heavily spun content to make these pages. I think I made a 6-page link wheel with spun content on all pages. And the result of this is that it powers up, it powers things up, but it also, they don't remain indexed. Do you use other assets besides Google Sheets to link to the Google Cloud pages, such as Twitter Moments and expired tumblers? Yes, I do that. And if not, why not? I do it. The checklist is showing blank. Can you see my screen still? Can you still see my screen? Yes, all right.
Yeah, buddy, we can see it.
Oh, okay, got it. As I said earlier, the Google Sheets is something that I do for my clients when I'm building these gigs. And it's also something that I'm doing for myself, of course. But the Twitter Moments and the expired Tumblr links, that's not something that I'm doing for my clients, because it's a manual process and it takes a lot of time. So it's not economically viable to do that for clients, actually. I have a gig on with the 10 Twitter moments on my web shop, but it's not something that I enjoy doing because it's just, it takes hours and hours of manual click, 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 click. Why use Google Cloud Pages to link to the Amazon S3 cloud rather than Google Sheets and Twitter moments? All right, so when it comes to this diagram, you can see that I'm changing here. I have a Google Sheet that's pointing to Google Cloud. Google Cloud is pointing to Amazon. That's pointing to Amazon. That's pointing to Azure. The reason I'm changing this around is because I don't want Google's rank brain or whatever it's called now these days. I don't want their ranking robots to detect the pattern. So that's the reason that it's important that you change, Google, Amazon, Azure. It's important that you change out. If you make a stack, you need to, change out so that you don't link 25 Amazon pages in a row, because Google will detect that for sure. And then you don't get the effect that you want. For the storage container, do you have to set your IP address to the region you select? That's not something I do. Use a proxy incognito, not something I do. I mean, when you create the storage in Microsoft Azure, do you have to use anything special for your browser when you do it? No. Yes, no. I don't. When I create the storage in Microsoft Azure, I just create it, with my account information and with my credit card. Your checklist is showing blank. I don't know what that means, Patrick, but the checklist, let me just see here. The Microsoft Azure deep dive checklist will be uploaded afterwards. What do you see as the downside of this? Time consuming, anything else? Yes, it is extremely time consuming. So that's the reason that I'm I'm developing my Yaks, is because this process of going into these HTML files and doing it in hand is just, I mean, even if it is powerful, I know that it's not something that you're going to do because it just takes too much time. So may you show the G Sheet content? Why not? Another Max is asking, may you show the Google Sheet content? And why not another Google property or a whole Google stack? All right. Okay, Google Sheet. Okay, so let me just check something. How to use Twitter moments for local SEO. I just need to check something here. I just need to check something. I made a Google Sheet here just as a test. I'm not sure that it still shows up. When you make these Google Sheets, they actually have a tendency of showing up in Google search on page 1 for the long tail keywords, but only for a couple of weeks. Then they drop out, but they still have a lot of ranking power. I use an application called Backlink Factory. I'll just show you this guy here. I use an application called Backlink Factory. Mega Backlink Factory. And this is not an application that I developed. It's some other guys called the Ranking Factory. But what this does, this application, it creates these sheets. So what I do is I go to, how long would it take to train a VA? A day or two. Actually, I'm making videos for my own VA at the moment for this process here, and I am trained in this, and it's probably, I don't know, a couple of days. Graham, I would say a couple of days for an intelligent virtual assistant to understand this. Perhaps 3-4.
Will it be possible to have access to that training if somebody buys your package, Jesper?
Let me think of that. I think when you're saying package, do you mean the gig here?
Yeah, the training.
No, I know I can't share the training on how to do this. If you even if you purchase the gig, no.
Okay.
But because it's just too much work, too much details, too much confidential information, how to gather content, everything. No. Patrick is asking, can you show how to make the Google pages? The Google pages. I think that you mean the Google Cloud. I think I'll do that next week, Patrick. Next week we will go over the Google Cloud setup. The course Cloud Stack. I mean, can you share the video training in the Cloud Stack course? Yeah, I'll make a separate video for the Cloud Stacking course with Google Pages and Amazon. Sorry, Azure. Yeah, next week for Google Cloud. Yeah. Where was I? I forgot where I was going. We all should buy his Cloud Stack course, guy. Yes, I can agree with what Patrick is saying there. What the fuck was I about to show you? Oh, the mega backlink. Thank you, Patrick. Yes. Okay. So let me just minimize this guy here. So what you can see here on my screen is another application called Mega Backlink Factory Platinum version 1042 sheets. So this guy here actually creates Google Sheets with thousands and thousands of backlinks. And you could say, and you would be right, that, okay, a link from a Google Sheet does not count anything. I would tend to agree with you. But let's say you upload a Google Sheet with 10,000 links. Then even if one link doesn't matter too much, if you build a sheet with 10,000 links, it still matters a little bit. So what I do is I go to this free website called keywordtool.io. And let's say I want to build a sheet for SEO. SEO is my target keywords. I just click here and I click copy to clipboard. So these are my primary keywords. And then I search for local SEO. And this is just purely an example, So keywordtool.io is a free website that I use to do quick and dirty collection gathering of a lot of keywords at the same time. Search for local SEO found 193 unique keywords. So I click keywords, copy to clipboard, and put them over here. And then let's say I want to power up this guy here. So then I copy the URL. I go over to Backlink Factory again. Insert the URL here. I call it SEO. I call it local SEO. I select the Google account for Raymond Buchanan. I don't know who that is. That's just the name I created. Let's say upload. Let's see what happens. I don't know what happens. Status ready to upload. Seems it's still thinking. Let's see if there's a question. A VA is only as good as your SOP. Jeff is saying that, and Jeff is correct. And Graham is saying you are the SOP whisperer, Jeff. All right, so it's working. It's working its way through my my keyword list here. I think it's done now. No, it's not done. Now, so let me click on this guy here. I could go over to my mail. I can go over to is it this guy? I have so many Google accounts. I can't remember. Okay, so so anyway, I can let me just show you. Let me just show you what this is about. This is about that. If you can see where my mouse is now, it says unique rows count per sheet 96500. So what I just did here, I just created. Well, I think it's still creating. I'm not sure it's done yet, but I just created 96,500 backlinks to a cloud page. Let's see here. Yeah, I think it's still working. I'm not sure. So grab Jesper's awesome gig here. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, this is not a tutorial on Mega Backlinking Factory because I'm not a black belt in this particular software, as you can tell. but that's what I'm doing. So I think I'm more or less through my presentation for today, guys. So if there are any questions, feel free to ask. And I will answer as good as I can. How do you create so many Google accounts? Do you need separate phone numbers for each one? Can you see my face now? I'll need to know if you can see me because I have something to show you. All right. Let me 2 seconds. Hold on, just taking off this. Right, so I'm back again. So telephone, mobile phone, mobile phone, mobile phone. So yeah, I mean that's the way to do it. So I just purchase SIM cards that I can fill up with money. So that's the way I do it. That's the only way, because if you're building links.
There is another way, guys, to get around the phone number thing too, is if you get Android devices, Google will let you spin up a certain amount of Google accounts before it starts asking for an SMS, especially if you use Chromebook. I've managed to spin up about 20 accounts before I needed an SMS. Google seems to trust Google products more. So that's another little tip if you want to use it. Sorry, Jesper.
Yeah, no problem. That's a good tip. It is duly noted. But yeah, so that's the way that I do it. I have these 4 phones and several. You ever use BlueStack on a PC to simulate the Android devices? I don't know what that is. I haven't tried that, Patrick. BlueStack on PC, Android emulator. Don't know. Didn't ever use that.
Jesper is not a black hat dude, Patrick. So BlueStacks is something usually us black hatters use. So.
All right. So I had to install that to use WeChat, but never fall through. All right. I learned something today also. But with regards to these phone numbers, it's a good idea to phone verify your Twitter account. And you definitely need a phone number to register an EMGUR account. EMGUR, that's something that I do for my link building campaigns. So, and I see a lot of these powerful accounts, they require actually phone numbers now. So, but William, I am done now. and it doesn't seem there are so much more questions now.
Great job as always, Jesper.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I mean, it kind of looks complicated, but I guess it isn't really, is it? Like once you start following the steps, repetition is the mother of learning, and you've already said that you can train a VA in 1 or 2 days. So I guess if you apply yourself, you'll have some pretty powerful juice coming to your website. And honestly, guys, what's the course worth? It's like only $150. Like seriously, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. It is a no-brainer, and I know that it looks complicated, but I started with a couple of years ago when I started with the cloud stacking. I built extremely simple HTML templates in hand, only consisting of this code. I can show you. Let me see here. The code in my HTML pages when I started was HTML, head. No, I don't even think I have a head. I just have, a paragraph and then some text. That's it, actually. I think that's the only content of the HTML pages that I had when I started building my own cloud pages. So that was super duper simple. And if you insert links in this, it still works. So it doesn't need to be complicated. But of course, I've been doing this for a long time now. And so, of course, now this is where I am now. But that's not where you want to be when you start out. Just need to go to Google, search for free HTML templates, and download one of these guys here, and just experiment. Where do you recommend we learn HTML? HW3 schools or other place? I think that. But when it comes to HTML, you don't need to take a course. I mean, I did, but I also I started out taking my second master degree in software engineering. So of course I learned a lot of coding, but I mean HTML. It's I think just experiment. I wouldn't recommend any course. Because I mean, it's a lot of code. I know it's a lot of code, but let me just minimize this guy here. This is a long document, of course, but I think it's learning by doing. So, do you recommend to do cloud stacking for our SEO client from get-go after finishing the on page? Well, I have a specific way of building backlinks, or a specific order of building backlinks. I always start out with citation gigs. Then I build all the Web 2 properties that I want. Then I build all the social media properties that I want. And then after that is done, I can start building cloud stacks and PBN links. So recommend starting with cloud stacking? No, that's not something that I do. I build other kinds of links first. Samuel. Yeah, good question, actually. So any more questions? No, it doesn't seem like it. Guys, then I would like to say thank you for tonight. It is now 3 o'clock in the night here in Denmark, so it's time for me to say goodbye. It's been a pleasure, and I'll see you next week, where we are going to talk about Google Cloud Deep Dive. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot, Jesper. Really appreciate it, buddy.
No problem.
See you
Bye.
guys. See you tomorrow.
See you. Bye-bye.
See you, Maxi.